Hello, I'm Rover, and you're about to listen to a chapter of the audio version of my book, The Moongazers, a pirate queer adventure story. This is a 30-chapter series. Are you enjoying this project, and would you like to support me? You can do that by becoming a patron or buy me a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. Enjoy! Chapter 12. Frey. It feels like a long time passes before the wind dies down and the sea finds its calm again. But I couldn't say whether it's minutes or hours. There's a stubborn hope in me that Kathy is still on board, wearing a raincoat, examining some map with Jude, or that she's taken another way to the tech room, or has gone to the small meeting room. Deva's body is still on top of mine. Footsteps approach the stairs, and a voice shouts out, "You can come up now." But I don't know whether I want to move. Deva stretches and searches my eyes. I look away. She massages her arms and legs, now detangled from our involuntary embrace. She walks up the stairs, and I know she's going to look for answers. I want those too. Carefully, I move my body and reactivate the blood flow through my limbs. Why hadn't she just let me go? I might have been able to do something. I could have focused on Kathy while the others were busy minding the ship. I walk up the stairs and start looking for Jude, who's standing at the helm, face riddled with exhaustion. Deva is already heading towards her. Quickly, I follow. "Where's Kathy?" I ask Jude. She looks at me painfully and shakes her head. "We tried what we could," through her voice, "but she was gone so quick," she says softly. With long strides, I pace to the back of the ship. I don't know why I do that. I know like no other how little time it takes. In 8 minutes, you can develop hypothermia. In less than a minute, you can get sucked in by a wave and never come up for air again. Still, I'm standing at the railing, binoculars in hand, as if Kathy had been swept overboard only a minute ago. Layla approaches me. She follows my gaze to the swell and doesn't say anything. After a moment, she grabs my hand, probably with the intent to lend me support, but I yank it loose from her grip and walk away. Layla should have caught hold of her. She had been up on the deck. I am about to run away from her when I see Deva arriving as well. Fuck this boat. Nowhere to run, not a minute just to yourself. People tugging at you all the time, wanting to talk, wanting to be with you. If I could, I would have walked out of the door, slammed it shut, and picked up a fight with the next person on the street. But here I am, stuck on this damned boat, surrounded by this damn sea and these damned people, and I cannot leave. I grunt and pace to the small meeting room. I open the door a crack to see if there's anyone there. And surprise, 4 people with dirty clothes and wild hair are bent over a map on the desk. I shut the door with a bang and walk away. I continue searching for solitude until I find a small cabin I spend my first night in. It's empty, and I close the door. But the room is too small, too stuffy, and I can smell the vomit on my clothes. A reminder of the hours before Kathy disappeared. I walk out again, go up to the deck, and climb into the crow's nest. Maybe I can see something from up there. A person floating. But I don't see anything. But climbing and moving my body helps. The breeze in my hair no longer feels hard and hostile like it did a couple of hours ago. It's more like a soft caress. As images of Kathy flash through my mind, I realize I have gotten attached to these people. I hadn't even been aware of it, but now someone has died, and it gets to me. I would kick at something if I could, but I can't. My thoughts wander to the moment I realized my parents weren't coming back. I stared at the sea a lot then too, especially the first days, hoping for their boats to arrive, that they'd just walk into town, but they never did. And it's not going to happen now either. I look over the crow's nest's railing and see crew members stretching their legs and talking to each other. I see Layla leaning against Deva, her shoulders heaving, her hair, wet with rain, pasted to her face. They're not the only ones standing like that. I also see relieved faces, happy that they'd made it. But the relief disappears when word gets around that one person is gone. Jude is still standing at the helm, quiet, peering, her back straight, as if she's done nothing besides standing there for the past few hours, navigating us through this crisis. I feel for her. She lost her parents at sea too. Is she thinking about them now, the way I do? My mom's smiling eyes. A woman with the biggest laugh. My dad's serious look. But I won't allow these thoughts. I push them away. Let someone else take care of Jude, I think. I don't know how long I've been up there, but when it gets cold and the sun starts to set, Layla climbs up to bring me a blanket. We don't say a word. She doesn't try to sit down with me either. She slinks away immediately. Jude is no longer standing at the helm, and in the twilight I can see that Yara has taken her place. Why did Kathy have to die? It feels unfair. Someone who worked so hard, who was always trying to improve herself. It feels like such a waste. From the hold, loud crying reaches my ears, and I feel uneasy. Uneasy being at the spot I made Kathy climb up to. Uneasy because she always waved down at me, and I'd shout at her, "This is not a game. Up goes easier than down." I can't stand it. Before it gets completely dark, I climb down. I don't want to be around Deva and Layla, so I find my way to the small meeting room, looking for Jude. For the first time, I knock on that door. "Come in," I hear a tired Jude say. I walk towards her sleeping place. I stick my head around the corner and look at Jude lying in bed. Her wet cheeks sparkle in the soft glow of the moonlight. We look at each other in silence. She pulls up a corner of the blanket. I take off my dirty coat and crawl into bed with her. I don't know why I'm doing this or why she's inviting me, but I do know she understands. She throws her arms around me and I bury my nose in her black hair. She smells of stress and wood, and something only she smells of. We hold on to each other, and without saying a word, we fall asleep. I wake with a jolt, my body dripping with sweat. I reach for my throat. A bad dream. I sink down into the bed and look beside me, only to find Jude's not there. On the pillow next to me lies a string, knotted into the form of a tiny flower. The sound of footsteps echoes through the small meeting room. I consider hiding. I don't want to get caught in the captain's bed again, but then Jude's head appears. "Frey, we're all going to the deck to wash. There's warm water. You can wash your clothes too." And she points at the dirty pile I've left on the floor. I get up, because I can't stay here either. Slightly uncomfortable, we look at each other and Jude caresses my back. I stiffen as a shiver runs down my spine. I turn away and grab my dirty coat as if it is my ticket out, away from this intimate gesture, the meaning of which remains obscure to me. away from this warm, fluttering feeling in my belly. It's sunny on the deck, but not warm, as if there's never been a storm. The entire crew is standing around naked, or almost naked, washing their clothes. All kinds of bodies, big, small, with breasts, without breasts, some with big scars, old and young. In any other situation, I would find this shameless nudity absolutely absurd. But I don't have it in me anymore. Everyone is covered in dirt and needs to wash the storm, the chase, and the last weeks of their bodies. I find my way to a slightly concealed corner, throw my dirty clothes in a pile, and wrap a cloth around me. With another piece of cloth, I start washing myself slowly. The hollowness in my belly that had briefly been filled by Juice's presence has returned. It doesn't feel good. Cleaning my clothes that Kathy had still rested her body against feels like leaving behind a version of myself that she was still a part of. I see Deva come toward me, with Layla following suit, and I let out a sigh. I don't want to talk about it. I almost want to get up and leave, but I'm only wearing this cloth. Frey, this afternoon we're going to say goodbye to Kathy. Do you want to say anything? Deva asks me quietly. I blink and stare at her. Goodbye, I ask. Yeah, we'll have a ceremony on the deck, Layla says soberly. Too fast, it's going too fast, and I look up at them angrily. Barely a minute has passed since she's gone, and you want to give up on her already? She might still be alive. My voice cracks. Deva and Layla look at me in pity. Layla moves closer, but her proximity only makes the stone in my stomach sink deeper, and I turn away. When you're ready, we'll be there, Frey, Deva says, and she walks away. These people are insufferable, like they have nothing better to do than submit everyone to their emotional torture. I like it that Jude doesn't do that. With her, I don't have to talk. She just gets it. Or maybe I just think she does. A few hours later, the hold is clean and filled with clothing lines. New sets of clothes have been distributed, some from the SS Opel, but there are also some strange-looking outfits. Someone is walking around in a white captain's costume, and several people are wearing orange suits that look like something prisoners used to wear. Some walk around in dresses, others in sweatpants or nightclothes. I want to disapprove, but I arrived at the pile of clothes late, and now I'm wearing an orange dress that flows down to my ankles. When I stand on the deck, the wind makes it flap around my legs. It feels awkward, more so because the large tears in the fabric bear my legs far above my knee. I miss my leggings, but they're hanging to dry downstairs. I try strapping my knives to the dress, but that just looks ridiculous. I don't want to look like some warrior of death in a dress. I wish I could have laughed about it with Ray. At sundown, we're all standing at the quarterdeck while the sky is being painted in shades of purple, orange, pink, and blue. We form a chaotic semicircle, our faces turned toward the sun. Deva steps forward and starts speaking. The first sunset without our comrade, she says, her voice halting. The strong, confident Deva I have come to know has lost her bearing. In our hearts mourn for Kathy's loss, a great talent who stole everyone's hearts, she says, words stumbling forward. The pressure in my stomach is unbearable. Next to me, a woman from tech is crying softly. With her knowledge, her jokes, her caring, but also her will to always improve, to fight even when it's scary, to continue to be brave when it's needed. She was always there to help and support her comrades. She would never leave anyone behind. Deva has finally found her voice and is speaking in a serious, somber tone. Kathy traveled the world to find us. She leaves behind her father, Liam Molko, in Brekersand. He helped her escape. Let's make a promise as a crew to tell Kathy's dad about her passing if we get the chance. To tell stories of how she was here. Exploring, discovering, always looking for the beauty in people. Even the people with the greatest walls around them, she could break through. And we're thankful for all she did, all she sacrificed, and all she gave in the struggle for a better world. I let the words wash over me, but I have to make a great effort to suppress the storm raging inside, to stop shaking, to stop the chills that run along my body. Deva steps back into the semicircle and Layla embraces her for a moment. It is quiet, but for some sobs. I stare at the floor and try to calculate how many planks make up the deck. It's about 80 planks across, and this section is maybe 30 planks wide. But then Layla starts singing. It's a song about the sea, how beautiful she is, how seductive her call, about the wind and the water, who were lovers that sometimes had the worst fights. The song consists of slow, long notes, and after the first verse, a part of the crew joins in, as if they'd rehearsed this for weeks. Voices rise and fall while the wind dies down. The following verse is about all who fell from the turbulence between the two. Layla's voice, well practiced and powerful, carries me to another sea and another time. I feel the stone inside me has a desire to surge up, and in the twilight, for the first time, I allow it. I feel more than I thought my body could contain. And suddenly, Jude is standing next to me. Or maybe she's been there all along. I raise my eyes and see her tears flow forth, while Layla's voice dances on a long note, her tones reaching for the moon. And Jude's tears become my tears, while she grabs my hand. I heave and cry, as if I'm allowed to do so for the very first time. Layla's voice and her song become softer, smaller. The chorus, sung by the entire crew, disappears to the background while I'm sobbing in Jude's arms. I'm no longer aware of what's happening around me. Another arm wraps itself around us, and I smell Layla's leather vest as I fall apart. Into 1,000 pieces I fall, and I mourn. I mourn for Kathy, for my parents, for my life with Ray, for my friendship with Kathy, and I mourn for the person that I once was, that I will never be again. A spring morning after a cold winter. A feeble sun melting the frost on the high grass in the dunes, making them sparkle like stars. Seagulls exchange their playful screams. We're leaving winter behind, and this feels like a day to enjoy the prospect of summer. A first day on the beach without layers and layers of clothes. A first day of walking through the dunes without the wind painfully cutting your face. Nevertheless, this isn't a day for frolicking about. Today is the day we will be tested, or challenged, as Tormund likes to call it. His choice of words is intended to make it sound more interesting, but what it really is entertainment for the elite. An evaluation in which the men of power will determine whether we're strong and skilled enough to become their private weapons. Torben no longer wants to rent us out permission, but sell us off into permanent service, or whoever will have us. Since the news got out, we've gathered together whatever information we have and spent hours speculating about the best city to live in, about the reputation of each of the strongmen, and about who of us will be bought first. I wander through the dunes and enjoy this moment of peace. There is one thing everyone agrees on. The better you can show your skills, the bigger the chance you end up somewhere comfortable. Torben has elected to show us off in a hand-to-hand combat. That way he can make a little extra money off the bets they're sure to make. I know how much he'll enjoy making us prance about like show horses, surrounded by the most powerful men in the country. It's bad luck for me. I'm not the best fighter of the group. I have many talents and I know how to defend myself. But if this is the way I have to prove my skills, I know my chances of landing well are slim. I walk through the sand and enjoy the sensation of the morning sun on my skin. My feet find their way across the dune into a crease in the terrain where Frey is hiding. She's twisted her hair into a braid on her head, the way she does when she knows she has a fight coming up. Loose strands of her hair are blown about her face by the wind. Absently, she stares across the sea. The water ripples calmly below a weak half moon, a remainder of the night. I try to sneak up behind her and feel almost guilty for disturbing her musings. I put my feet slowly into the sand and approach her with the patience and focus of a cat. Since I'm close enough, I pounce on her. But apparently, Frey has sensed my presence, because she rolls along with me, and in a few moves, she has me locked in the sand. She lets go of me and we laugh quietly, because this meeting is a secret, and it must stay that way. A few months ago, Torben called us into his room after Teklen has seen us talking in bed together. Torben thinks we're too close, which might give people the wrong impression. He warned us that such an impression could negatively influence Frey's visits to Tyra. Now we're each sleeping in different buildings, and we only see each other at training. And in our sparse moments of freedom, we manage to meet here. They're already here, Frey says, while she brushes the sand off her clothes. She starts rattling off her tips and observations. Today is an important day. I gave Teklen a good kick against his right leg yesterday. Take advantage of that. Mace is strong but not fast. Please make sure you do better than last week. She looks at me imploring, as if I can change the fact that fighting isn't my strongest suit. I just look at her. It will be all right, I assure the both of us. If I repeat it often enough, it might just come true. Fight mean, Frey says before sneaking back to her room.